Well, it seems like ages since I did my last vlog, and in all truth it probably is. I think it was sort of May, June sort of time. In that period I spent a lot more time behind the camera, doing a lot of filming and video work for Grays and a couple of other people. And I've been doing a fair bit of video editing as well, both for the Grays carp side and the course side as well. So it's been alright, and I do prefer being behind the camera these days, I must admit. But I thought I'd let you know what I've been doing just recently, and I've kind of been all over the place. I mean, the last one was down the Nene Valley on the syndicate. After them 240s, I decided to give the Nene Valley a miss for a little bit. You know, I'd had pretty much most of the fish I wanted from the area, so I thought I'd try somewhere a bit different and have a bit of a travel around and get on somewhere else. And I had this Cambridgeshire water in mind that I really wanted to fish, and well, I fished there a few years ago in all honesty, and I really wanted to get back there and have a few more of the stunning fish that the lake contains. But after the recent floods, it just didn't look right at all. I didn't see a carp on a handful of sessions I did there, and all I caught was bream, and all I saw was tension, pike, and you know, again bream in the water. So I decided to give that a miss and go somewhere else. I didn't really want to go back to the Nene Valley because all the fish had a heavy spawn this year, and they were right down in weight. I think there's only probably 140 left on the complex, and I'd already caught that one, that cut tail. It wasn't so much about the weight, I just didn't want to catch them spawned out and looking tatty and not quite at the best. So I was a bit of a loss where to go, so I made a few phone calls and rang around a few mates, and I'd look on the internet and basically digging on a few waters, and you know, I tried a few different places on recommendation, and I did find it hard to settle on some. I think this year I fished like 17, 18 different waters, which is not like me. Normally I have a main water, a little bit of a social water for my friends that I do a couple of nights in a year, and probably somewhere else to go in winter. And that's normally how I fish, just get on one water, do a campaign on there, and that's that. But this year I've been all over the shop, mainly because I've been doing tutorials as well. You know, I've always done them a little bit, you know, friends of friends and whatever else. I did the Corda one this year, the Corda Carp Academy, which should be on Sky Sports in December, I think. Just to see how I'd like it, and that was something completely new to me because I'd never teach kids before. I was a bit apprehensive because you never know, you could get a cheeky little git, but the two kids I had were absolutely sound, you know, really keen to learn and took in everything I told them. I shouldn't say kids because they weren't kids, they were young lads, you know, they're teenagers. It was great, really good atmosphere, and I enjoyed it so much. I thought, well, let's advertise my coaching a bit. So I started advertising on Facebook, and yeah, I've had quite a few bookings off the back of it, and I had some really good anglers as well. You know, normally you think I'd just get novices, but I've had some quite decent guys that have caught really well over the years, and you know, I suppose they've come to me to just brush up on a few bits and pieces, because obviously I'm known for the big hard waters, and obviously they've changed their water, or they want to talk to me about rigs, or talk to me about bait application, or fish location, or whatever else, and yeah, I've had some really good tutorials. Not everybody wants publicity, so I can't put everybody's catches up here, but did have a good couple of nights session with Carl Williams, and he caught some nice dark fish from a water local to me in Burton-on-Trent. So it was nice to catch a few fish local, and yeah, I've got a few more booked through the autumn and early winter, which should be interesting. Obviously, keen anglers are doing it this time of year, but yeah, it's all good and going well. But back to me own fishing. Like I say, I've been going all over the place, trying to find somewhere to settle into, and I've struggled, to be honest. But I have found somewhere now, and this is where I am, with the rods out in the middle of October, but I'll do the next vlog on here. But apart from here, I fished the water inside the M25 in London, in a bit of a built-up area. It's kind of well, it hasn't been fished much before, let's put it that way. And I did it with a mate called Mikey, mainly kind of turning up after dark and just doing a quick night and disappearing just after dawn. But we did manage to do one full day on there, and we had a good result. I had 9 fish, Mike had 6, but personally I had a better stack of fish, to be honest. But we did have a few. Well, he had a 33, that was the biggest. I had a few mid-20s up to about 26, and it was a very eventful day. And that session was all about the hinge stiff rig. I had 3 rods out. I had 7 fish on one rod, 2 fish on the reverse line, but the 7 were all on the little hinge stiff, that fish, and it was crackers. They just wanted that rod all the time, even though all 3 rods were on the same baited area. They just wanted that little hinge stiff, and that tripped the fish up. And yeah, nice little session that was. Like I say, I fished all over. I had a couple of fish from a few different waters, and then I decided to have a little go on the Nene Valley. Not a proper go, just when I had one night free. And here's a nice 29-pound 4-ounce common from the Nene Valley. I haven't really fished down here too much this year. I've been going down Reading a bit more, but I had one night spare, so I popped down and I was rewarded with this. Very happy. Nice to go back to a water I know and prove I can still do it on there. But the last session on there, that was a good one. It was this one swim that I'd done well on the previous year, last year. And when I pulled up in the car park, I got talking to one of the locals, Tony, and he told me that the swim was free and a couple of fish had been seen up there the previous day, so that was it. That was as much as I wanted. Now I just had a quick walk around, checked a few other swims, saw nothing not showing, so I dropped my bucket in there, went to fetch my gear, did the night on there, didn't really see a lot, saw a couple of maybes roll, not in the areas I expected to see them either. They were kind of more to the left of the swim. Weren't 100% sure they were carp, but I had a feeling that they were. So nothing happened at night, nothing happened in the dawn, and then dinner time I thought I'd have a bit of a walk around, see if I could find some fish elsewhere. And the bobbin just slowly inched up, pulled up to about half mast, held there for a bit. I was wondering if it was a line or a bit of tail or whatever, and then just tightened right up. It didn't pull out the clip, but you know, just stayed up tight near the rod butt. So I knew there was something on the end. It was kind of a breamy bite, so I was a bit sceptical when I hit into it. And all there was to start off with was just a dead weight. I could feel the line just plinging off a bit of weed to come in more direct contact with it all. And yeah, I could just feel that the fish was in a bit of weed, and I wondered if the fish was still there or not, or what it was. I just felt a lunge, so I knew there was a fish on the end. I had a feeling it was a carp, but I wasn't 100% sure until I got it moving. But when I did get it moving, it just started going slowly and kiting. I thought, well, didn't quite know how big it was, and then a few more lunges. I thought, yeah, that's definitely a carp. And it just kind of kited on a tight line round to in front of me, and still wasn't sure how big it was or what the situation was. You know, it felt like heavy weight, but I didn't know quite how much was carp and how much was weed. So then I got it in front of me, and it just slowly pulled the rod down and just went on a slow, powerful run. I thought this could be a big fish. And after a few minutes of playing it, I managed to get it to within about 20 yards of me. It turned on the surface, and there was no weed on the line, and it was all carp. So I knew it was a big girl. It looked like a big girl as well. And then it turned a second time, and I knew it was one of the big commons. You know, the water throws up a few mid-30 commons at this sort of time of year, but it looked bigger than one of them. So my kind of heart was in my mouth, and a bit hoping that I was into one of the targets. And eventually I slipped it in the net, looked in the net, and I started racking my brains to which fish it was. It was a deep fish, so I knew it wasn't blind eye, you know, kind of probably the biggest fish in the lake. And one of the first things I noticed was the size of its mouth. It had a big old mouth on it, you know, big old untouched mouth sort of thing. So I knew it wasn't a smallmouth, and I knew it wasn't the parrot, and left only one fish really, and yeah, it was the Immaculate common. Fantastic little result. That was one of the ones I wanted. I wanted that one and blind eye, so I was really pleased to catch it. Come on, you chunk. It's the Immaculate. The Immaculate common, 39.14. One of my target fish from the water, so I'm really happy. It's my first time back here for a while. Been fishing down in Reading up until then, so it's a nice little return. Happy days. After I slipped it back, I stayed on the the water for a couple more nights, hoping for blind eye or maybe one or the other, you know, upper 30s. But then I heard a bit of a rumour that an unknown 38 had been out to the lake next door, which I thought was interesting. And then a couple of days after the session had ended, because I caught nothing else from there, you know, barely saw another fish. The old lake just looked dead, despite the conditions looking fantastic. You know, southwesterly wind, big old moon, start of October. That's big fish conditions to me. I love fishing in weather like that. It's just absolutely bang on. It just screamed big fish. So I really thought I was in a chance with the bigger one. Like I say, didn't get any more action whatsoever. Then a couple of days later, I got a phone call from one of the locals down there, one of the regulars, to say that blind eye had been out, but not out the big lake, out the lake next door. And it turns out the 38 common was one of the other big girls, smallmouth common. So it seems like a lot of the fish had got into the lake next door. And this morning I had a text message say a fish called the wood carving, which is an absolutely stunning mirror, probably about mid-30, had just been out there as well. So it seems like a majority of the stock had slipped into the lake next door. And apparently what had happened was that there's like a pipe adjoining the two lakes, but the pipe had been gridded off. And somewhere down the way the pipe had corroded, so the fish had moved through. The pipe had been fixed towards the back end of the summer, the gridding had been fixed towards the back end of the summer, but it seems like a lot of the lake stock, certainly a lot of the big fish, were already in the lake next door, so that kind of threw me off a little bit then, so that's why I'm back in Berkshire again, and I'm kind of glad I did.